I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to tell you something that the people around you are too scared to tell you. Your money habits are keeping you in the same tax bracket year in and year out. And if you don't like that, then it's time to make a change. The truth of the matter is, it's not necessarily about how much you earn, it's about how you manage how much you earn. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the everyday money habits that are keeping you stuck and potentially delaying you from hitting the financial milestones that you want to hit. So if you're interested in finding out what those habits are and solutions and how to overcome them, then stay tuned for the rest of this video. And if you haven't met me before, I'm Dr. Uyiosa, a girlie who creates content on money and personal finance, and also all things property investing as someone who entered the property ladder at the age of 24. The first one is lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is basically when you spend more money as you earn more money. And in 2025, I feel like, if I'm being honest, if this is a safe space, we have normalized lifestyle upgrades. It's very common to get a new car, change your wardrobe, have a designer wardrobe, go on really fancy holidays when you may not necessarily have the means to. So when your spending rises faster than your investing or your saving, that is actually a sign that you may be a victim of lifestyle creep. And the difficulty around lifestyle creep is when you have really high fixed living costs, such as where you live or the car that you drive, you kind of have less wiggle room for when things do go wrong. And it can actually give you the illusion of you're doing well because, well, you have this high flying life, when actually, if you could be cash poor. There are two things that you can do to kind of prevent the lifestyle creep. So the first thing is keeping an eye on just how much you're spending and making sure it's not past a certain percentage of your income. And then the second thing that you can do is making sure that you're automating your savings and you're automating your investing. So if you want to put aside 20% or 10% or whatever percentage every single month to go towards your emergency funds or your saving or to go towards an investment vehicle, that is done without you having to think about it and without having to be tempted to use that money for something else. Point 2 is not tracking your expenses. You cannot grow something or improve something that you cannot track. Tracking gives you more insight into what your habits are when it comes to money. So if you don't track, budgeting kind of becomes a guessing work because you're kind of approximating and thinking, I think I spend this amount of money. When you haven't set a smart target, you're less likely to actually achieve the overall goal that you have set in mind. So budgeting helps you make a smart goal when it comes to your finances. And it's also an eye-opener. By tracking your money, be able to find any loopholes that you weren't aware of. You might have subscriptions that you no longer use that you've been paying for months on end that you can cancel. And another benefit of tracking is it helps you to be proactive with your money rather than reactive. You might find that due to something that happened months or weeks ago, you might have accumulated interest, or you might have late fees, or there might be an unknown payment that you didn't make that could be as a result of fraud. So there are loads of resources out there. There's the Emma app. In the description box, I will put a link to the tracker that I personally use for my finances. Point 3, not having a financial goalpost. Most people don't move tax bracket because they don't have a specific money goal and they just say that they want more. The thing is, with more, it's vague. When you say more, do you want £1 more, do you want £10 more, or do you want £10,000 more? And over what time frame? Do you want it in a day? Do you want it in 2 months time? Do you want it a year from now? And another disadvantage of not having a specific goal is if you have a great financial opportunity in front of you, you are more likely to miss it because you don't have a clear goal in mind and you probably haven't worked backwards to identify which avenues and which opportunities you need to take advantage of in order for you to achieve the goal that you have set. So in order to help create a financial goalpost, I would highly recommend using the SMART framework in setting your goal. So SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and timely. And so let's say you wanted to make more money. We're going to break that down using the SMART framework. So the S would be making it specific. So identifying specifically how much money you want to make. So in this instance, we're going to say we want to make an additional £5,000. The next part of that would be the M's. You want to be able to track whether or not you're on progress. And that leads nicely to A, which is achievable. You want to set goals that are realistic to your income and expenses. Otherwise, if it's not achievable, you can be discouraged and it can actually affect your morale when it comes to money. The R stands for relevant. So you want to ensure that your financial goal is in alignment with a personal goal or some form of purpose. So it could be that you want to save this £5,000 in 10 months because you have a holiday or because you want to pay off your debt. And the T is timely, which is basically attaching a time for which that goal needs to be achieved by. Point 4, the circle you keep. You are a combination of the closest people around you. If you are around people who are ambitious or who hate people that make money or who aren't encouraging when trying to break out from a traditional norm, then you might find that actually that discourages you and stops you from trying different things because you don't want the backlash from your friends. It's really important that you surround yourself with people who have a similar vision and alignment to you and who will encourage you and pour into you and affirm you when you are trying to achieve your goal. The solution to this is find your community, find your tribe, find people who are on a similar financial journey to you. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the same journey. It could be that they are trying to make better financial decisions. It could be that they actually have a target number in mind, but you want people who have an abundance mindset so you can hold each other accountable and not feel isolated on your journey to achieving your financial goal. Fear of investing and also trying new things. If you keep your money in a savings account, that money is losing its buying power as a result of something known as inflation. And inflation, simply put, is the average increase of the cost of goods over time. And a really good example of this is sweets. If you go to a shop and you're trying to buy squashies, you'll find that the cost of squashies has increased by 50p, but the quantity that you get is a lot less. The best way to caveat the impact of inflation is by investing your money in something that gives you more money, which covers the impact of inflation. The earlier you invest, the better, and there's loads of different investment vehicles that you can go down, but the one that you choose should be in alignment with what your overall goal is. And the last one, which is probably the most crucial one, is avoiding financial education. If we think about everything you've done in life that has given you some form of output that you like, there's been a level of input. If we look at driving, for example, before you drive, you need to learn about the theory of driving, the different signs. You probably would have had driving lessons to make sure that you're actually good on the road before you did your driving test and you got your driver's license. The same principle applies to financial knowledge. Unfortunately, in school, we're not taught about financial knowledge, and then at some point we're given a ton of money and we're just expected to kind of manage it. And the people who manage money well and are able to grow it and get the outcomes that they desire are the people who have created time to understand how money works, to understand how they think about money, and to understand what specifically their goal is with money and which strategies will help them get there. And there are so many different things you can do to educate yourself. There's this channel which has loads of different content on financial literacy. There are books out there at different levels. You have books for beginners, and then once you have the foundations, you can then build up and read the more complex finance books. There are podcasts out there are conferences, there's so many different things you can do to learn about money. So yeah, that is the end of this video. I feel like these are the 6 main things that tend to keep people stuck when it comes to being in the same tax bracket and just not having the financial glow up that you may desire. Let me know if you feel like I've missed out any other things in the comments, and don't forget to like this video. And if you haven't joined the community, then make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!